CSGO, Valorant, League of Legends, and even Beat Saber. What do these all have in common? They have a competitive leaderboard where you can play against other players to see who the best truly are. However, that isn't necessarily true about Minecraft, which is the #1 best-selling game of all time. This can be attributed to Mojang themselves not really having the best support for the multiplayer scene, but that's a topic for another video. Let's not get into that today. Despite that, there are still small communities that come together to enjoy the activities of their niche.
I scattered 1,000 people across 2 massive islands to simulate a realistic civilization.
And in some cases, they develop their own programs and projects to establish a ranking like other games would. An example of this is the MCtiers project that ranks players depending on their skill in each of the different PvP game modes or kits supported. However, the current system is riddled with problems. Most of the problems come with the fact that to get a tier, you have to be online whenever a verified tester is online at the same time for them to open queue and you to be the first one to join that queue. And if you don't play the best in that fight, or if the tester themselves hasn't tested to adjust their tier in a long time, or if they just straight up don't like you, there's a chance that the tier that you get is inaccurate. Along with this, because of the competitive nature of this community, toxicity and ego can take root in even the upper members of the community, causing people to attack or even dox, DDoS, and do other heinous cyber attacks against their fellow members. Because of this, there's a project that's been in the works for a while that hopes to fix the fractured state of this community. PvP Ranked. This project will unify the PvP community around a single system that will be fair and unbiased for everyone. And just a heads up, I'm just going to be spouting nerd nonsense for the rest of this video, so please stick around to the end and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let's get into it. We should probably start with what I said before, what this project actually is. The best way to explain PvP Ranked is that it will be a mod that can be installed into Minecraft itself, and it will have a matchmaking system to pair players together to fight in matches in whichever game mode they want to fight in. And based on your performance in each of these matches, you will be assigned a tier and a ranking. If that doesn't make sense, I promise that I will explain everything in this video in deeper depth. Starting with the rank system, PvP Ranked will use an advanced matchmaking algorithm that is similar but not the same to other standalone titles like CSGO or COD, etc, etc. You get the point. Basically, it'll work in similar way to other games and their matchmaking algorithms, where you get matched up with players at what is believed to be your skill level and depending on your performance. So, for example, if I beat my opponent in Sword that is just a little bit better than me based on his ranking, I'll be awarded less points than someone who is a lot better than me. And then you find another player and another player and another player until you finally find a player of a skill rank that you can go kind of even with consistently, and that will be your skill level. But along with that, you'll get a score assigned to your performance, and depending on where your score is what ranked or tier you get. That was a mouthful, but what it boils down to is you'll get graded like every fight is an exam. So good luck and make sure that you don't fight on an off day. But there's another problem that also plays the current tier list system right now. Cheaters. Cheaters are a major problem in any competitive video game, and that is double true for Minecraft, since it's one of the easier games to modify and create cheat clients for, since, you know, Minecraft is a sandbox game which actually has a defined modding support, unlike multiplayer support, which is kind of an afterthought compared to the modding support. But that brings the question, what's going to be done to combat these cheaters? And the answer is a lot. Improved netcode being one of them. Netcode is the magical term that I'm going to be using a lot during this video, and I was told not to try to explain what it is because it's very complicated and I'll probably just end up confusing you. If you do want the nerd information, then just go to the link in the description. You can see all of the things in there. But the improved netcode will be the main way that we combat cheaters. And the reason for that is that now everything's going to be monitored. Voice crack! Oh my god! And the reason for that is that everything is going to be monitored. Game states, player interactions, movement, inputs, everything. So anything that isn't physically possible in vanilla Minecraft will be flagged, and if there are too many flags, they will be automatically banned. For example, let's say I decided that I don't want like taking KV, but I don't want to be too obvious about the fact that I'm cheating. So I decided to modify my knockback so that I take 5% less knockback using velocity. Even that small amount of knockback discrepancy would be detected and accounted for, and punishment would be dealt swiftly and effectively. In the words of one of the developers of the project, hat, anything that's physically impossible without cheating in Minecraft is very impossible with the improved netcode. Not only will it rapidly flag you, the hack doesn't even work. What I'm saying is that if you try to use velocity or something else, you will get banned almost immediately, but you also won't be able to take any less KB than you would without hacks. However, even though the anti-cheat will be their first line of defense against cheaters, it doesn't mean that that's the only countermeasure in place. Introducing the replay system! From what has been said about the replay system, it's not a video recording of every fight. No. Instead, it's a log of all the game state, entity data, and inputs, which takes up significantly less space than a recorded video would. And it brings with it some great benefits for countering cheaters. Number one, it counters a simple bypass method of claiming your PC isn't good enough to record, since, you don't need to record, since every fight is already saved to your computer as a replay file. And another benefit is that since replay files are logging all the input and entity data, you can recreate the entire fight, including the hotbar and inventory movement, and spectate from the point of view of each player to check for any suspicious head move or any other indication that someone's cheating. And for those who know a little bit about Minecraft and thinking that it would be stupid to use head movement as evidence for cheating, remember, the replay files are based off of keystrokes, so ping will have zero effect on how head movement is portrayed, making it more accurate. And even if you don't see the replay system's value as an anti-cheat, it'll still be amazing to watch your previous matches and see exactly where you made a mistake and what you have to do to correct it. Also, the improved netcode will allow the mod itself to track your performance just overall. Accuracy, how often you quick drop, other important information like that, it'll all be stored within the mod. And I think that this is where the replay system will see most of its usage. But back to combating cheaters, it is very well known that in most video games, cheaters use multiple accounts to avoid punishment while continuing to cheat, and that is especially true for the MCtiers community. However, we have a major problem. It's really hard to prove that someone is an alt without taking sensitive personal information like their IP address. Well, with the new replay system, since it tracks every input from the player, it can also be used to 100% confirm that someone's an alt without having to get that personal information. Because unless you somehow manage to copy someone's playstyle perfectly, even down to the way they hold your mouse and the timing of your keybinds, you won't get banned unfairly, which I don't see how you can physically copy someone's playstyle that perfectly. But something that I do want to see? The subscribe button getting clicked. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know that with your help, we can get that done. If you hit the subscribe button, I promise that you'll get negative 20 MS in your next match. Internet so fast, you're in the future. But speaking of ping, let's talk about relay servers and what regions are actually going to look like. As of right now, there are 4 regions: NA, EU, AS, and SA, with players within those regions being forced to fight each other until they get to higher tiers. With PvP ranked, gone are the days of strict region-locked fights. The way it'll work is, you and your opponent will connect to a relay server that you both have the same ping on. So for example, if you had a fight between a 10 MS player in Virginia and a British player who gets 70 MS to Virginia, both players will be on 40 MS. This is why you can play outside your region. You can literally do NA to EU on 40 MS. Under ideal conditions, you could also get to New York to China on 100 MS, which is more ping than they will likely allow, but it's still pretty impressive. As a general rule of thumb, the ping level is roughly equal to half the ping of both players added up, so while there is still going to be regions, there's no longer going to be such hard boundaries, and there will be a lot more leniency for people wanting to fight outside their country. And for those who play Minecraft PvP, you know how important ping can be for a fight, since it can affect player reach, knockback, and hit registration. Well, do I have good news for you? Gone are the days of players floating mid-air and taking 0 KB while also hitting you for 7 blocks away. With our cutting-edge netcode and advanced routing configurations that are above my pay grade, we will ensure that there isn't a massive good discrepancy in ping between you and your opponent. All we need for you is to join the PvP Ranked Discord and join us to motivate the great developers of the PvP Ranked project today. Now let's talk about something that's less nerdy but more nerdy at the same time. The beautiful art and the assets that are in use. Just look at this trailer. I'm gonna play a little bit of it on screen. Just tell me this isn't the coolest thing you've ever seen. Oh my god. Just the fluidity of the menu and the fact that you can do literally everything here. I personally haven't seen the prettier mod in my life. And it's not just the menu. Just take a look at these maps they're gonna be pushing out. Oh my god. This will be a great on the eyes, and hopefully the rest of the project is just as great as the art. But you might be wondering,
Montage, what game modes are even going to be supported?
Well, the answer right now is that the main MCtiers kits are going to be the only ones available at launch, with the other lesser played but still unique and pretty interesting game modes having support added later on. The kits that are going to be supported at launch are Sword, Diamond Pot, Netherite Potion, SMP, UHC, Mace, Crystal, and Axe. If you want any more information about these game modes, check out the video that I made where I tested in every game mode, except for Mace. I refuse to make a video about that. But that's all the information that I have about PvP Ranked. If you're interested in this project, show support by joining the PvP Ranked Discord, which will be linked down in the description below. If you do, you'll join me and the rest of the cool people who just can't wait for this project to come into fruition. Thanks to Hat and Evil Overlord, who are both admins over at PvP Ranked, for helping me check the script for this video and making sure that I didn't accidentally lie to you all. But if you guys want this to release faster, show support by joining the Discord and also subscribe.